Hey everybody, welcome back to Screwball, a baseball podcast, your home for everything baseball. I'm your host Mike Lepre, here with my co-host Frank White.
Hey, how's it going?
On this episode of Screwball, we're going to change things up a little bit. We're going to do our normal formula a little different here because we're at the end of the season. And we're going to actually look at the playoff picture this whole episode. We're going to talk about all 8 teams in each league, and we're going to evaluate each matchup and see where each team is going to end up. But before we get to all that, we actually do want to give a little bit of news, a little bit of some updates regarding some players and teams. So why don't you kick us off here, Frank, because you got all the news updates for us, so I'll kick it over to you.
Sure. So, I just want to start off with some injuries or some concerns. We'll start with Ronald Acuna. He was scratched from yesterday's game with some wrist inflammation. He was on the IL with the same injury earlier in the year. I think there's more precaution this time, but still something to take note of. Chris Martin left the game with a groin injury for the Braves. Max Fried, they hope he's ready. They expect him to pitch game 1 of the playoffs. So they have some pretty big concerns with the Braves right now, with the playoffs starting this week. Next guy to talk about, Jose Urena, fractured his forearm. He got hit by a comebacker by LeMahieu.
Yeah.
I believe it was either yesterday or Saturday.
Yeah.
So that's a tough break for the Marlins, who obviously need everybody on deck to try to make it something crazy happen. Corbin Burns went in the IL with an oblique strain or oblique tightness. So that's going to probably be it for him for the whole postseason.
That sucks.
Brett Anderson had a blister issue. He left the game over the weekend. They don't really expect that to be much, but still something to take note of.
Yeah.
And for the Padres, Dilson Lamet and Clevenger. Dilson Lamet left the game with, I believe it was bicep tightness. So they don't really know what that is. I think it might be more precautionary since the playoffs were coming, but still something to take note of. And Clevenger doesn't look good. He had a scratch from the start once before. Then he pitched 1 inning, taken out of the game. I believe he has some sort of strain in his arm or his elbow. So I'm not sure if he'll pitch the rest of this year. They're still kind of waiting. So those are some big injuries or big concerns for some of these playoff teams. We're all playoff teams, but there's some major concerns there. You know, obviously there's some other ones you can even mention. Chad Pinder's finally off the IL for the A's. We can still talk about Matt Chapman not being there for the A's. Jace Paxton, he was strong, all flat ground the other day.
Yep.
There's a chance he can maybe pitch out of the bullpen real late in the postseason. So there's a bunch of concerns for the year, for the playoffs, because of the shortened year. So we'll see. Some of these injuries could really make a impact, change these whole teams, and change the whole dynamic of the year.
Yeah, especially the Padres with Lamet and Clevenger. I mean, that's kind of their big thing the Padres didn't have was pitching, and all of a sudden, now you go in without your 2 big guys.
That's 1 and 2.
Yeah, exactly. So those 2 guys could win you the wild card series right there.
Oh yeah. So the next little piece of news here is Gary Sanchez will not start game 1 for the Yankees since Garrett Cole's pitching. They're going to start Kyle Higashioshi. So that's big news. He's obviously some sort of quote-unquote franchise catcher, because he's not that ever. No franchise. Maybe a little league. But so that's notable.
Yeah, that's big.
Some other news coming from the Yankees. DJ LeMahieu wins a batting title. This is notable because he becomes the first player in the modern era to win a batting title in both leagues.
Yeah.
He won the batting title in the NL. I'm not sure the exact year, but he was 348 that year. This year, shortened season, he believe he batted 364. I believe he led the whole league.
Yeah, he led the MLB. Yeah,
he led the MLB. Yeah. So, but he's the first player in modern era that went into batting title in both leagues. That's pretty impressive. Just tells you that hitting, that style of hitting travels anywhere.
Oh yeah.
From Colorado to Yankee Stadium to anywhere.
Sure does.
That's good. And he's obviously one of the best players in baseball that no one talks about really. Next piece of news here, the GM for the Angels, Lepre, they fired him. He brought in some big names, Rendon, and made some decent moves. They never made the playoffs while he was there.
Yeah.
I think he did a pretty good job building a team. They just couldn't quite get pitching.
That's a big problem.
They had some starting pitchers. They obviously had some issues. Heaney had some injury issues. The unfortunate thing that happened with Tyler Skaggs. Some other issues they've had along the way. Altani can't really pitch from his injury. So he's made a pretty decent team, I thought. They just can't quite put it all together.
Yeah.
So this also comes a day or 2 after Trout said we need to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So that might be something to take note of there. But the Angels shaking things up a little bit. Next piece of news here is is good news. Actual good news.
How about that?
The possibility of fans in the playoffs, mostly late in the playoffs, like the CS's Championship Series or the World Series. The possibility of some fans. That's just good to get everyone feeling a little bit back to normal. Makes a revenue for both the teams, the league, the players. But just good to see. It's a start. So that's good news.
Yeah,
and
sure.
It's good news, especially because Globe Life Park is one of the bubble cities. It'd be great to have some fans there since it's brand new.
Yeah.
So
that'd be cool.
Yeah, some good news there. And the last piece of news here is with the 16-team playoff. We have 2 teams, I believe, in the playoffs under a 500 record, which is crazy. But a lot of young players in the playoffs. So
yeah.
Do these young players hold up? We're going to see who falters. We're going to see who is going to start their career kind of with that not a big game player, or we're going to see the guys who are big game players.
Yeah,
so it's going to be exciting to kind of see who is who. That should be exciting. And we're also going to see another big thing. Some of the weather is going to start changing. Even though they're in warmer cities, you're not going to have them dog days of summer as much as they're coming down to the end. You're going to get the little bit cooler nights, the brisker nights, even in California and Texas, even though they have the domes. But so we should see a little bit of the weather change too, see if that affects anybody. It's not going to be major, but you're not going to get the 120-degree days as much anymore.
Yeah,
You're going to get more into the 70s and stuff like that, so that might affect a little bit. But these young guys we'll see if they're going to hold up. Who's going to be a hero? Who's going to, be like, oh, this guy can't, he was batted 100 in the playoffs. Is he any good?
Yeah.
Is he clutch? We're going to see that. So with a lot of these teams, it's going to be a lot of new heroes and faces to take notice to. So.
Yeah, sure. I mean, there's a lot of big upcoming stars in the postseason here. There's a lot of times where the spotlight's going to shine on these guys, and you're going to wonder, well, you were good in the regular season. You really like the Padres, for example, like guys like Tatis and Machado and all them. Like, can you do it now all together in the postseason? So it's going to be a gut check for a lot of these teams, and it's going to be interesting. I mean, it's postseason time. It's awesome. Yeah. So then I think that segues real nice into the main topic of today's episode is just the playoff picture. And by the time this goes live, obviously there will have been some games played. I think even because I don't think there's going to be off days, by the time this goes live, some of these series could already be over, right? I mean, it could be Tuesday, Wednesday, done, for some of these teams.
Sure.
So let's just, this is recorded obviously on Mondays, like we've said a few times in the past on this show. So we're just going to give our predictions here. We're going to go series by series, starting obviously, these are all the wild card series, and then we're going to go to the Division Series, Championship Series, and who is eventually going to win the World Series. So let's start. We're going to start with the AL, and we're going to start from the number 1 seed, Rays, versus the number 8 seed, Blue Jays. So who do you think is going to take this series?
Rays.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Rays have outstanding pitching. I think the Rays have been good all year, and I think that the Blue Jays just don't have enough to compete with the Rays, really. I don't even think that may not even be a very competitive series, if I'm being honest.
They have talent, so I wouldn't be surprised if something crazy happened, but they're all new to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Most of the team. The Rays kind of been there. They've been good all year. I just see the Rays finding a way to win. A little bit more of that old school, the old school way of hitting, but a new style team.
Yeah.
That's kind of why the Rays are. They make contact, they run the bases, they pitch, but they have, analytics and a bunch of crazy stuff like that. While the Blue Jays are just like, let's go in there and mash the ball and be young and aggressive.
Yeah.
So I think the Rays take that series. I wouldn't be surprised if the Blue Jays did something, but I think there's a really good chance that the Rays win that series, and that's who I'm picking.
Yeah, that's who I picked too. I mean, like I said, the Rays pitching. I just don't think the Blue Jays pitching personally can keep the Rays down, especially the bullpen. I just think the Rays are too good, and I think that's just what it comes down to. But I mean, good on the Blue Jays for making the playoffs. Obviously
the only year they're not in Toronto.
Yeah.
Finally, get back to the playoffs. So that's
of course. Now let's move on to the next series. This is an interesting series because I like both teams. I know you like both teams. The number 2 seed Athletics versus the 7 seed White Sox. This I think we differed on a little bit. But who do you think is going to take this series?
Well, I think if Matt Chapman's there, I think it's easy to raise. I mean, the A's.
Yeah.
I think it's easy the A's if Matt Chapman's there. Without Matt Chapman, I think it's still the A's.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a little bit closer series. Both teams are very talented. The A's finally get somewhat of a series in the playoffs. That is 1-game chance.
Sure.
The Rays have to make their first. I mean, the White Sox have to make their first trip across country, essentially, to the West Coast to face the A's. I think the White Sox are just too new to the playoffs. I think the A's kind of been there. They kind of know what's going on. They've been good all year.
Sure.
Without even the stats showing they've been good all year. No one's really doing great out there. Well, they've been good, so they're winning. And you got to make sure you get all 27 outs against them. As the Giants, they come back against everybody. I think the A's win. That's a great series.
Oh, yeah.
That's one you wish for at least 5 games, 7 games.
Yeah.
But we're going to get that'll probably, I think, end up going 3 games.
Yeah, I think so, too.
But I just don't think the White Sox are way too hot and cold, and they have way too much inexperience. I think the A's been there. They've done that. I think they'll win. They got a chip on their shoulder they had all year.
Yeah, I can't disagree really with anything you said because I like both teams and I love this series. And I really am not pegged on either team. But if I had to give my prediction, I'm going to go with a little bit of an underdog choice. I'm going to go with the White Sox. I just think that the White Sox went in pretty hot at the end. And I think that if they carry that over, I think that they can take the A's out. A's sometimes have a little lack of luck in the playoffs, and I think you could see that play in. But again, I think this could go 3, and I think you could even see, realistically, either of these teams going all the way to the championship series of the World Series. So I think this is an important series in the beginning here. So I'm going to go White Sox, but it's like a cautious pick. I think that the A's could easily win it. I think the A's could easily sweep them.
Yeah.
But I think overall, I think the White Sox might take it.
I think their manager's better.
Yeah,
A's.
sure.
I think Bob Melvin is better. Rick Renteria is. I'm glad he's got a chance to be on a good team, but I think Bob Melvin is better.
Sure.
And I just can't believe Mike's jumping ship on the A's here.
Don't get me wrong, I love the A's, but I love this White Sox team. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. I like the White Sox too, but I just think the A's. I mean, they're good.
Yeah. Oh, believe me, I'm not.
And they've been there.
I'm not taking anything away from them.
The White Sox just haven't been there.
Yeah, experience factor.
I mean, nobody. Who's been there? Keuchel?
That's about it, yeah.
And he pitches once.
Yeah, you got
series.
Really him and Giolito are your two. That's who you got to bank on. Them getting you the wins. And the A's really got a whole staff. So it's going to be interesting. That's going to be a great series. I love both teams. It's hard for me to even root for one of them.
I think, like I said, the first time they're going essentially across country. I mean, not really across because they're more central, but still.
Yeah, it makes a difference.
That big road trip.
Yeah.
That's going to be it's the first time all year. So I think the A's take it. But yeah, I could easily see the winner of this going to the big dance.
Yeah, that's how I kind of see it as one of these teams could go. Let's move on to the next series here. I think we agree on this series, at least what we discussed before we start recording. The number 3 seed Twins versus the number 6 seed Astros. I think I know your answer, but who do you got?
The Astros, I think, on paper are probably more talented without these injuries, without some of the issues they've had.
Hell yeah.
But the Twins got a hell of a team, too.
Yeah.
The Twins are going to win.
Yeah.
I
agree.
I think they're counting their lucky stars that aren't in the Yankees' side of the bracket.
Yeah.
They feel confident. They've played well. They played really well here down the stretch. They're going to go in. They're going to beat up a battered Astros team. And I think everyone's going to have momentum whenever they face the Astros, as we did all year. Anybody. So I think they'll come in and be like, let's beat these guys. So I think the Twins win. But the Astros still do have talent, and they have been there, and they do have a big chip on their shoulder. So you never know. But I think the Twins win.
Yeah, I agree. I don't see the Astros with their current state, especially how they played all season. Anytime I kept track of the Astros, it never seemed like they could get on a roll. I think they finished the season under 500.
Yep.
If it wasn't really for that kind of abysmal AL West, they probably would have fallen to a wild card, really, and they might have even fell out of the playoffs at that point. So I think they're actually should be lucky that they're even in the playoffs at this point. And I think that the Twins, with their offense, and they've gotten good pitching on the back of, Maeda and Barrios is always there. I think that the Twins are going to take it. And they also, important to note, they play better at home. Like they play awesome at home. Too. So, I believe they were like 22-5 at home or something ridiculous. So I think that's a big factor too, even without fans. I think that makes a difference. So we're both taking the Twins, and they got a great team. They took the AL Central, I think, on the last day or second to last day or something. I think to get this spot.
Yeah, so they're a good team. I think the Twins take it.
The final game that we got for the wild card in the AL is the Indians and the Yankees. The 4-seed Indians taking on the 5-seed Yankees. This is an interesting series, especially because both these teams, at least this year, are streaky beyond streaky. So who do you like in this series? This 3-game set.
Well, I think the Yankees have more talent.
Sure.
I think the Indians are more hot and cold for the reason that the players are just hot and cold. As the Yankees were more hot and cold because of the injuries and the stuff they dealt with. I think the Yankees will take it. I think the Yankees had that mindset all year that we're already in the playoffs, even though it got dicey there. And then when they needed the wins, they flipped that switch, 10 in a row. Guys got healthy. They got Garrett Cole leading them off. I think they win this series. I think it might go through. I think it goes 3 games. But I think the Yankees win that series. It's just a rivalry with the Indians and the Yankees in the playoffs. They always seem to play in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And recently it kind of seems like the Indians kind of take the series more.
Yeah.
I remember 2007 with the Midges, and a couple years ago I believe it was Game 5. The Yankees came back against the Indians.
Yeah, they were down 0-2. So
yeah. So it's going to be a good series. It's just that I think behind Bieber for the Indians, you got Carrasco, who's good, don't get me wrong. But I don't know how he is in some of these games, these big games. Sometimes he's really good, and sometimes he's not. I don't know.
Especially compared to probably who's going to face Tanaka. So
who's been good.
Yeah. Proven.
Yeah. So, it's going to be big because if the Yankees beat Shane Bieber, I think they have. Obviously, it's right there for them.
Yeah,
if they lose to Shane Bieber, it's more of an uphill battle, but they can come back from that pretty easily. I think that the Indians need to win the game 1 if they're going to win a series, just because, like I said, behind Bieber, it does get a little dicey.
Yeah.
I think. You can kind of say the same with Yankees, but Tanaka's always shown to be a big game pitcher.
Yeah, sure.
So, we'll see. I think the Yankees win that series though, just because they're gonna have that switch. I think, and the Indians are really truly hot. Either really hot or really cold.
Yeah. That's how I kind of feel with this series, is who's going to come in the hot team or who's going to come in and play their best, because both teams just get so unbelievably cold this season, and they've gotten unbelievably hot. But I think you hit the nail on the head with the game 1. I think that's really going to make a real decision with Bieber and Cole.
And that's another thing with Bieber. Has he done it? Has he been there? Because Cole has.
That's true.
And Cole has had some struggles a little bit. But he's pitched some very good big games. He's kind of been there.
And he's kind of riding a hot streak with his recent starts.
Well, Bieber kind of hasn't really been there. And another thing to take a look at, he hasn't had a bad start.
Yeah.
Everyone's always due for something.
That's true.
It's gonna be a good series.
Oh yeah.
I think it's a little bit of a tough draw for both teams.
Sure is.
I think it's the worst draw of the bunch. I think is the A's and White Sox.
Yeah.
I think either team that's a bad draw for. The A's get lucky because the White Sox haven't been there, but I think it's a bad draw for both teams if they're looking at it.
Yeah, I gotta side with you on I think the Yankees will take it, but I think this is kind of similar to A's White Sox, where it's kind of gray. I could see the Indians winning. I could see the Indians sweeping the Yankees out, because the Yankees have looked like that this season. They just get cold. But I could see the Yankees just as easily sweeping them out. So it's going to be tough, but I'm going to go with the Yankees. So that's the AL wildcard games we got. Move on to the National League. So the first game we got here is the number 1 seed Dodgers versus the number 8 seed Brewers. Again, I think we agree on this, but who do you got in this first matchup?
I just can't believe the Dodgers got this lucky. They could draw a team like this.
Yeah.
The Brewers are terrible.
Yeah, they're not great.
One of our buddies is a Brewers fan, and God bless them, but they're bad. They're just terrible.
Yeah.
Just come right they're bad. They're not good. So I think the Dodgers kind of drew a lucky straw there. I'm not saying that they would have played the Marlins or somebody. Talent-wise, Brewers are better. Sure. The Marlins will play good this year.
Yeah.
So Dodgers are going to win that series. The only reason you could say they don't is because they're the Dodgers and they mess up all the time. And Kershaw's going to pitch one of those games, so he'll mess up. So that's what you just think that's their easiest chance to get knocked out in this 3-game series.
Yeah.
Mess up one time, they're almost out. But they get it, the Brewers who
they're not great.
They're not good.
No.
They're really just not good. I don't know where Yelich hasn't played well. Lorenzo Cain's not playing. Corbin Burns is hurt.
Yeah.
Brett Anderson had a blister. I mean, they've had issues. Hader was really strong for a while there. Struggled to touch in the middle of the season there. So I just don't. Yeah, Dodgers are going to beat them.
Mm-hmm.
That's as simple as that.
Yeah. I agree. I don't even think there's much to really even discuss here.
I'd love to see the Brewers beat them.
Oh yeah, it'd be great. I would love it too, but I can't see the Brewers doing it. If they were facing up against the Reds or something, then that's something to talk about.
Anybody else in the NL.
Yeah, really, that is true. But good on the Brewers to make the playoffs. Like I said with the Blue Jays, good on them. Good for that fan base. But you're really running into a buzzsaw with the Dodgers. I think in this early, you know what I mean. So Dodgers take it. I think we both agree. The second series we got is the number 2 seed Braves versus the number 7 seed Reds. This is going to be a great series. I wish this is one of those series you wish was 5 games or so, 7 games. But who do you got out of the Braves and Reds? I think I know who you got, but go ahead.
I mean, everyone knows our opinions on both teams, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I got to ride. I got to ride my Reds.
Yeah.
I got the Reds helmet on right now. No one can see other than Mike. But I got the Reds helmet on.
He sure does.
The Reds are going to win.
Mm-hmm.
Red hot. Oddly enough, the Reds are red hot. Into the playoffs. Both teams mess up in the playoffs. Braves seem to find ways to do it.
Mm-hmm.
The Reds similarly find ways to not get to the playoffs. And then when they did, mess up. Johnny Cueto, the Pirates, dropped the ball.
Yep.
But the Reds are hot right now. And the Reds can pitch. Braves can't pitch.
Yeah.
With their injuries. Without the injuries, they had some pitching.
Oh, yeah.
With the injuries, they really don't have pitching.
Mm-hmm.
And offense, you just got to hope the offense carries you.
Mm-hmm.
Acuna and Markakis and Ozzie Albies. Of course, you got Freddie Freeman. The bullpen for the Braves is I think they're pretty similar to the Reds. I think the Braves might have a little bit better names there. But the Reds are hot.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Reds beat them. And I've had the Reds all year before the year started. I had them doing very well. It's a bad draw, I think, for both teams again. Because I think the Braves and the Reds, I think I originally had them in NLCS.
I think, yeah.
That's, I believe, where I could see them. But of course, they're getting each other right here in the beginning. But the Reds could pitch. I mean, you're going to have to get Bauer versus a Max Fried, who's coming off of an injury. And then your second game is going to be, Luis Castillo, who's been pitching really good recently.
Yeah.
Versus, that's the question.
Mm-hmm.
And then if it goes to game 3, you get, Sonny Gray, who's coming off of an injury, versus, again, maybe probably a rookie, really young guy.
Ian Anderson or something.
Yeah. So, I think the Reds take it.
Mm-hmm.
The Reds are hot.
Yeah. He has on a Reds helmet that I ate nachos out of when we went to Cincinnati.
Sure did.
But so we're all pumped up on the Reds. I agree. I think the Reds are going to take the series, and I think the main reason, like you said, is the pitching. I think that Trevor Bauer goes in there game 1. I think he's going to take that game. I think he's all fired up. I think that Luis Castillo's been pitching his ass off. He didn't start real great this season, but he's finishing the season real great, and I think they could win both those games. The only thing is obviously the Braves. The Braves hitting obviously is nothing to sneeze at. They really got good hitters. But I think that the Reds offense is going to be able to do enough against the Braves pitching because they got no pitching. And I think that the Reds pitching is going to hold up, and I think that they're going to beat the Braves. But that's not a knock against the Braves, by the way. I think the Braves have a great team. We both agree on that.
Both teams have like a little bit of a curse.
Yeah.
But the Reds got good hitting.
Yeah, they sure do.
Don't get me wrong. And their hitting is coming alive. Eugenio Suarez is hot.
Mm-hmm.
He's starting to hit better. Castellanos was like 400 beginning of the year. Then he cooled off for a long time. Moustakas been there, done that.
Yep.
Votto, he's just seems to find big hits.
Yeah.
Freddie Galvis plays well.
Mm-hmm.
They got the Akiyama.
Yeah.
He's played well this year. Raziel Iglesias in the bullpen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Michael Lorenzo, he could be hitting and pitching. Who the hell knows what he's doing?
Yeah.
They got a good team.
Jesse Winker.
Yeah, Jesse Winker. They got Aquino.
Mm-hmm.
He had like 30 home runs and like 10 at-bats last year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Senzel, they could play.
Oh, yeah.
And they're hot right now.
They sure are.
So, and they got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
One of those teams.
Mm-hmm.
We made the playoffs. We got hot. We got nothing to lose. You got Crazy Bauer, who just be yelling crazy things as long as he doesn't cut his finger with a drone.
Yeah.
The Braves got all to lose.
Yeah.
They're at the point now where it's like, hey, we got to kind of start winning our World Series because our window's open.
Yeah, sure.
So, injuries and stuff like that. So, we'll see. I think the Reds beat them.
Yeah.
I think it goes 3 games. It's a shame. I like the Braves. I like the Reds, but I mean the Reds, those teams that just make it.
Yeah, they've been playing for something for how long now? So they're going to come in red hot, and I think they're going to come in hungry, and I think they're going to beat the Braves. I think we both agree. The third series here we got is the 3 seed Cubs versus the 6 seed Marlins. So what do you think of this? Very. If you told me this at the beginning of the season, I wouldn't have believed you. But what do you think of this unlikely matchup?
I just think ain't that something? They should let one fan in. They should let Bartman in. Just watch the game.
Yeah.
So you got that repeat itself. Cubs and Marlins at Wrigley Field.
Yeah.
But I think the Cubs win. I think the Marlins easily could win. This is going to be a neck and neck series just because the Marlins team nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Cubs been banged up, not playing well. Where's the pitching coming from? Who's going to pitch good? Yu Darvish has been Cy Young candidate, but his record in the postseason.
Yeah.
So I think the Cubs have more talent. I think the Cubs have been there. I mean, even manager wise, Dave Ross is rookie, but at least he was there as a player. I mean, Don Mattingly's never really done anything as a player, postseason, World Series wise. Dave Ross, at least he's done it once, but so I think the Cubs will win. But hard to root against the Marlins. Also, they make the playoffs. They usually win the World Series, so that's hard to look at them stats.
Yeah.
So last time they were there was 03, and they won the World Series. I think before that was 97, and
won the World Series.
Both teams shouldn't have won the World Series. 03, better chance. 97, no reason they should have won. They won, so 2020 and Marlins, and no reason to be there.
Yeah.
Miguel Rojas is like the best player, so we'll see.
Yeah.
I think the Cubs beat him.
Yeah, I got to disagree. I think that the Marlins are going to edge it out. I don't know why. I have this like sixth sense that the Cubs are just going to blow it. And granted, I think that they're going to take game 1 with Darvish. I think that's going to be big. But like you said, you got to worry about his track record in the postseason. You got to keep an eye on that. But I just see the Cubs are that team where they almost seem. I mean, I'm not a Cubs fan, but it almost seemed like they limped in. They weren't getting the production out of some of the guys that they need the production out of. And the Marlins have had to play for their lives for the last few weeks. Really, all season they had to play for their lives. And I just don't know why. I just got this feeling that the Marlins are going to upset the Cubs. I'm not taking anything away against the Cubs. I think it's more of like the Marlins just kind of just robbing it from them. I think that
heard that before.
Yeah. I got to take the Marlins. I just like them in this. I don't know why. I just like them in this series. I think that they're young, hungry, and I think that they could upset the Cubs here.
I easily could see it. And I'd probably be rooting for it. And maybe Martin Prado makes a comeback for the playoffs.
Oh my God!
Just for the Marlins, but
go 10 for 10.
Yeah. So that should be a good series.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great series.
Quite unlikely series, but it's why we play.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with that. I think that's probably gonna go 3 games. I would think. And the final wild card series we got for the NL is the number 4 seed Padres versus the number 5 seed Cardinals. Great series in my opinion. This is another one of those series I wish was longer.
10 games.
Oh my God. I love this. I love both teams. I didn't think I'd love the Padres as much going into the end of the season here, but they're exciting. So who do you like in this series here?
The Cardinals. Been there, done that. Padres are hurt. Both are pitchers.
Yep.
You got Yadier Molina and Wainwright. Wainwright might pitch all 3 games. Paul Goldschmidt's hitting a snot out of the ball. DeYoung playing well. Colton Wong comes up in big moments. Matt Carpenter hasn't had a good year, but he'll come up in a big moment. Harrison Bader is great in the outfield. Dexter Fowler, another guy, seems to be in big moments. Andrew Miller. I mean, they got a good team. They've all been there. They've all done that.
Yeah.
Padres, they got Hosmer, who's been there. That's it. Maybe Clevenger, but Clevenger, even his little bit of experience, not really a big game pitcher.
I think Machado. He went
yeah, you could say Machado too. I'm not sure what his stats were in the postseason.
I'm not sure. I know he was there.
The last out of the World Series, so
yeah, he did.
That's part of it. But you got Hosmer, Machado. After that, you got Clevenger, maybe a little bit, but he never was a big game. His chance. Other than that, you got some really young guys. You got Tatis. He's a hot and cold guy, kind of. Tommy Pham, I don't think he's back yet, so they're missing that.
Yeah.
Their bullpen, I mean, Kirby Yates, he's really never been anywhere in a big situation, so we'll see. I just think the Cardinals have been there, done that, and I just think they're going to win.
Yeah, I agree. I got to take the Cardinals here just for experience factor. I think that the Cardinals are a team that when postseason comes, are like the Yankees. It's like a turn to a different level. This is the real season for them. They kind of see the weight of it. I think the Padres are, while exciting, I think that possibly losing Lamet and Clevenger, I think is huge. I think that if they're fully healthy and there was no issues going on, I think that they could possibly take the series with those two guys putting the team on their back. But with the issues they're having, the fact that they could go cold, and just the experience factor of the Cardinals, I got to go with the Cardinals.
And the coaching staff. What coaching staff you taking?
Yeah.
I'm taking the Cardinals over that guy.
Yeah.
He doesn't even like his own player. So both teams are really good. You like to see them in like a 50-game series just because that's how good it would be.
Mm-hmm.
But Cardinals take it. They just have experience, and they got Yachty, and you can never count out some of them guys like that, and Goldschmidt and guys like that. So it should be a really good series. But I take the Cardinals.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to go with the Cardinals here.
And if there's any team that you don't expect to do nothing and then win the World Series, it's the Cardinals.
Yeah, you don't even think about them all season.
No,
you know?
They sneak in and then boom, they win the World Series, and David Freese somehow is up hitting home runs. So who else will be back somewhere? Edgar Renteria will be hitting or something crazy. So
yeah.
So I got the Cardinals in that series.
Yeah, I think we agreed. Yeah, we agreed just about down the board for both leagues, except with the exception of two series. So we're just about kind of on the same wavelength there. So then, if you want to move on to the division series, based on our predictions here, both of us have the Rays and the Yankees for the first division series, and then the second division series, you have the A's and the Twins, while I have the White Sox and the Twins. So let's go to the first one in the AL with, we could both speak on it, the Rays-Yankees. What do you think about a 5-game set there?
I think the Yankees take it. They do have more experience at that point than the Rays. And I think the Yankees do want payback. Chapman is crazy, so we already know where his standpoint is. Like I said, the Yankees are going to flip that switch, and I think they're going to beat them 5 games. It comes down to brute strength and brute talent, and the Yankees do have more than that. So, and they've been to the Tampa Bay this year, so there's no crazy travel. Well, actually, no, they won't be playing that game.
Yeah, they'll go to San Diego?
They'll be in the bubble city. One of those, I don't even remember. But Yankees, I think, win.
Yeah.
It should be a pretty good series, but, Yankees are due for some wins against them this year, and they do have better talent, so they'll win that.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the Yankees, if they come off that win against the Indians, I think it's going to be a real high that they're going to ride. I think that the Rays, I almost think, not that they're going to blow over the Blue Jays, but I think it's not going to be as competitive of a series as the Yankees-Indians. I think that coming into it, the Yankees are possibly going to be riding a hot streak there. I think that, I've kind of said it all season, though the Rays are good. There's nothing about that team that wows me. And I think that if any point the Yankees play the way that they can play, they're going to run that series, and they could run all the way to the World Series. And plus, it's a team that's probably pissed off at the Rays because the Rays kind of owned them all season. And not even kind of. The Rays did own them all season. So I think that factors into a little bit of a storyline there for the Yankees. So I like the Yankees over the Rays, and I think that's because it's neutral ground. The Rays don't have the advantage of playing at the Trop, which obviously the Yankees don't like to go to. So I got to go with the Yankees beating the Rays. I know that's an upset, and I know probably a lot of people that kind of did a playoff bracket probably don't like that because the Rays are a really good team. It's not taking anything away from them, but if the Yankees come out and they beat those Indians and they come out hot, Judge hitting, Stanton hitting, Mayhew hitting, Voit hitting, I mean, that whole lineup is going to be it's going to be impossible to pitch against. So I think we both agree the Yankees are going to take that. So then the next division series, we differ a little bit, but I'll go to you first with yours. You've got A's Twins, 5-game set. I'm not sure exactly where that would be, maybe LA or something, but who do you got in that series?
Okay. Gotta get the A's. The fighting A's. Mm-hmm. They're gonna win. Get them in a series. They're gonna have a big series there. It's 5 games. They've used to 1 game, so they'll win. They're just too good. And the Twins, they got a monkey on their back or something. I just think the A's, they're hard to beat. You can't count them out. And they don't just hit home runs. The Twins are a little bit more hit or miss. But yeah, I think the A's win that series. Another good series.
Yeah.
Kind of how you want it. Draw it up. So, but the A's win, and I'll be rooting for them.
I can't speak to that exact series because I have the White Sox beating the A's, but I would definitely take the A's in that series. So I think that speaks more to what my series is going to be, White Sox Twins. I just think the White Sox would run over that team. I think actually the White Sox or the A's would run over the Twins. I just don't. something's like it's almost like a different breed with the A's and the White Sox. Twins Astros feels like the Astros are kind of like limping all season, so I feel like the Twins can kind of roll over them. But I feel like the A's and White Sox, I wouldn't say are on a different level, but I like the talent more there all together as a team than I like the Twins. Obviously, the Twins lineup is ridiculous. You don't even have to get into that. 1 through 9 is awesome. But I like the White Sox over the Twins. I think that the pitching, I think that they could outpitch the Twins. I think on bullpen and starting. And I think that when they're right, I think they could out-hit the Twins, which is crazy to say. And it also helps that even though the Twins are the better seed, they're going to play a neutral site, so the Twins don't have the advantage of being at home, which makes a huge difference. So I'm going to take the White Sox over the Twins, which we kind of agree on the Twins won't make it past the division series.
Yeah.
Not a knock to the Twins. Got a great team, but I just like the White Sox better in that series. So let's move on to the NL series, the NL Division Series, where we have both of us have Dodgers Cardinals, which I have a feeling what team you're going to go with. So what do you think about the NLDS between Dodgers and the Cardinals?
I think the Cardinals had the Dodgers number all the time in the playoffs. Never forget Matt Adams hitting that home run of Kershaw. That was crazy. But I did do that MLB bracket. I did pick the Dodgers this time. I just think that it's just a safer pick.
Mm-hmm.
And that bracket, there's a chance of me winning money, so I'm just going to go with a safer pick.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the Cardinals could easily win that series. And I think the Cardinals, if I just want to pick my heart, Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
But since I did that bracket thing, I picked the Dodgers because I got to go for some money. So I think the Dodgers, I guess they'll pull it out, but I don't know. I can't stand them. So Cardinals are good, and they've been there, and they don't mess up all the time in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think the safest bet is the Dodgers. So I guess that's kind of who I'm picking, but I can't really say because I hate them.
Yeah, I can't. I feel exactly how you're feeling because I actually want to pick the Cardinals because I just every year because we talk about our predictions every year. I pick the Dodgers to go to the World Series or win it just about every year because they're that good every year. It's kind of and they always blow it and they disappoint me. And if there's a team that I could see knocking them out like this early, it's the Cardinals for sure. So
they've done it before.
Yeah, so I'm going to go Dodgers because I do think that they are that good of a team, and I'm going to keep riding that train until eventually they win the World Series, or who knows, maybe they go through a rebuild before they win another World Series. But I'm going to keep riding that train. I think the Dodgers are on paper, I think they are the better team, but I think the Cardinals can outplay them, and I think that they might outplay them. But if you had to put into a percentile, I would put like 51% confidence in the Dodgers, 49% in the Cardinals. It's really almost down the middle. But I'm going to give that slight edge to the Dodgers because they really played well all season. They what'd they win, 40, 41 games or something like that, something ridiculous. So I'm going to go with the Dodgers. I think they move on to the championship series. So then the next series, the next NLDS, we got a little different again. You've got Reds and Cubs. So who do you think with the Reds and the Cubs series? You're going to put that hat on, aren't you? Yeah.
Reds.
All
That's
right.
it. Done. Cubs are no good. Cubs might even you got them not even beating the Marlins.
Yeah, I don't even have beaten the Marlins.
No. So the Cubs are no good. So the Reds are red hot.
Mm-hmm.
So they're gonna roll through, beat the Braves. Momentum's going sky high. Come in, smoke the Cubs.
Mm-hmm.
They got no pitching. Reds are gonna come in and just wipe them off.
Mm-hmm.
Bauer pitching good and Sonny Gray and all those guys, and the Reds are gonna beat them. 3-1, something like that. I just don't see the Cubs really having. They have some talent, but they don't play well.
Yeah.
So I don't see them. Bullpen's not great. Starting pitching's not great. Baez hasn't done nothing. Rizzo hasn't been good since the beginning. Bryant hasn't done nothing.
Yeah.
So the Reds are just red hot, and they don't like each other.
No.
And the Reds, I'm telling you, you get hot like that, they're hard to beat. So I'm picking the Reds right here.
There you
Got
go.
the helmet. Reds.
All right. So I'm going to move on to mine. Give me that thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to put this thing on.
There
So
you go.
I got Reds, Marlins.
There you go.
I'm going Reds.
Of course.
I got the Marlins beating the Cubs just because I think the Cubs will blow it. But how are you going to sit here and tell me Marlins are going to beat the Reds? You can't.
I'm not telling you.
I got the Reds over the Marlins for a lot of the reasons that Frank has talked about and we've talked about in the previous series. The pitching, I think that if they come off a win, against the Braves, I think that's going to be huge for them. Although I think the Marlins coming off a win from the Cubs is going to be big for them. I think that the wave that the Reds can ride will be a higher wave than the Marlins can ride. I think just the Reds have just more talent, in my opinion. So mainly I'd say for the pitching, just even that alone, I think that they're going to beat the Marlins.
Sure.
But I think even overall hitting wise, I think they.
Well, the bigger the series, the more the talent is going to take over at some point.
Yeah.
3-game series, anything can happen. Obviously, the 1-game wild cards, from the other years, anything can happen.
Mm-hmm.
5 games, it's a little bit more like talent eventually is going to take over. 7 games, it's hard.
Yeah.
Any sport. Sometimes it's just the talent's going to take over at some point, and the Reds are going to be better than just about most of the teams, even probably the second most talented team maybe in the NL.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the most talented teams in baseball in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So they're going to be hard to beat. So
yeah,
you can't. Been bragging them up all year.
Yeah, we really have.
So I ain't turning them away from now.
Yeah,
so.
I hear you. All right, so then let's. We only got a few more series left, so let's talk about our ALCS, which you have Yankees A's. I have Yankees White Sox. So who do you have? Yankees A's ALCS.
Well,
it's a great series.
I got the Yankees. And not because I'm a Yankee fan, so you guys can all drop that crap. It's because I had the Yankees before the season started. So I ain't gonna turn away now. Yankees seem to have the A's number when they're not in Oakland. And they're not gonna be in Oakland.
Mm-hmm.
So that'd be something. And the Yankees, talent-wise, and missing Matt Chapman will hurt them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just think that they're good enough without him for some of the other teams, but you need everyone, all hands on deck when you're playing a team like the Yankees, when the Astros are fully healthy, the Dodgers, teams like that. You need everybody there.
Mm-hmm.
So missing, Chapman's gonna hurt them, and the Yankees, they're just really talented.
Yeah,
there's nothing about what else can you say?
Mm-hmm.
And they do seem to have the A's number in the playoffs a few times recently, and they're not in Oakland, so that's a big thing.
Yeah.
So, and the Yankees be riding a wave at that point.
Yeah.
Beat the Indians, a good team. Beat the Rays at that point, a really good team.
Mm-hmm.
And then come in and you have to beat the A's. So they'll be riding hot right there. So I think the Yankees win. Good series, great series.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Maybe 7 games, 6 games at least. But yeah, Yankees.
Okay. I'm gonna go a little different direction. Obviously, I got a different series. I got White Sox Yankees. I'm gonna go White Sox. And I know a little betrayal here. It hurts me to say it with the Yankees, but they just seem to peter out in the ALCS. Every year, they seem to peter out. They go, look at 27. I mean, granted, the trash can beaters were on the other side of the field, but, you got this incredible hot wave you're riding, incredible baseball on both sides, and you just peter out. Right when you get to that, it's like the Dodgers. You just get right to that top of that hill, and you just fall back down. And I think that the White Sox got a little bit more magic in their pocket than the Yankees do riding into this. And I think that, although I think the Yankees have more talent, and I think that in a 7-game series that could ultimately decide the series, and I think that it could, there's something about the White Sox I like. And even if I had picked the A's White Sox, I might go with the A's over the Yankees. So, I think the Yankees are going to peter out in the championship series, and I got the White Sox going to the World Series.
The lack of experience and the lack of coaching experience too, or solid coaching, just tears me away from the White Sox. The White Sox have had the Yankees numbers way back, Canerco and Jermaine Dye, and the Yankees never beat that White Sox team. But the Yankees have faced adversity this year, like pretty much no other team. So they'll get down a game or two, and they'll be like, don't matter.
Yeah. White
Sox, they'll get down a game or something, and they're gonna be like, well, I don't know. Who asked that guy? Well, you don't know. He's never been there. The only guy who's been there is Keuchel, and who lets you know he beat trash cans. So, yeah, I mean that'd be a great series, but I picked the Yankees before the season just because of talent. So I would hard for me not to pick them.
Yeah. Oh no, don't get me
wrong. I picked them before the year, so I'm not gonna change now.
Yeah. No, believe me, pound for pound, I think the Yankees got the best team in the league when they're right. But the way they've looked this season, it seems like they would get to that point and then they would just do what they did during their cold streaks and just.
Yeah,
but it's going to be a great series either way. If the Yankees, White Sox, Yankees, A's, they get to the ALCS, it's going to be a great series, and I think it's going to be a hard fought series for both teams. So let's go to our NLCS. We have the same NLCS. Dodgers, Reds. So who do you got? Dodgers, Reds. You're going to pick that thing up, aren't you? All right. Put that thing on.
Reds. got the helmet on one more time. The Reds to the World Series, the big red machine versus the Yankees. Old school. Dodgers ain't gonna do it. If the Dodgers get past the Cardinals, they're not getting past the NLCS. Just because they're Dodgers and they suck. That's what they do. Kershaw will have a 10 ERA. Walker Buehler will fall down. Bellinger about 100. And Kenley Jansen will blow 2 saves. I mean, you can pretty much write that right in there now. Bauer will come in, start yelling at him. He'll have something to say about the Dodgers for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, come on. He'll strike Muncy out and throw his glove at him or something. They'll start fighting. All this craziness. Votto will be the nice guy hitting home run. It's just that's how it goes.
Yeah.
Eugenio Suarez will come in and hit like 10 home runs in the series because that's what he does. Reds are going to they're just be red hot. They're so hot. They're going to just keep going and going and going. The Dodgers got all to lose. Everything to lose for the Dodgers.
They sure do.
And the Reds got nothing to lose. Can't count the Reds out. Got the helmet on.
There you go.
That's all I can say. They got some good pitching. Reds, Yankees, World Series. That's what I got.
All right. Well, I can't put the hat on because I'm going to go with the Dodgers here.
Some people.
And it's weird how we have almost conflicting arguments, like where I see the Yankees petering out to the White Sox and you see the Dodgers petering out to the Reds, where obviously the Dodgers have a much worse track record than the Yankees in the playoffs recently. But I just think that this could finally, I'm going to keep riding it. No. Like this could finally be the time that the Dodgers do it. They got a great team. They seem to always have the great team. And I know you hate me right now. Yeah, but I think that the Dodgers are going to do it. And I think they're going to go to the World Series against the White Sox, which is just a weird thing to say. And I think that's where the Reds, they have nothing to be ashamed of. They go to the NLCS against Dodgers. They take them all 7 games. They fight to their last breath. But the Dodgers, I think, is the better team, and I think that they take it.
Another big reason why I think the Dodgers just don't do, World Series or anything this year is because they haven't got cold yet.
Yeah, they've been hot all year. Yeah. I
don't care who you are. At turns. At some stretch, you're going to lose, 2 out of 10. You're going to lose 8 out of 10. So, somewhere in that realm.
Yeah.
So, I just think at some point they cool off. Just like every hot team will cool off.
Sure. Yeah.
Dodgers, I can't stand them. I think the Reds are good. Dodgers will blow it. So, I got my Reds helmet on. So, Yankees-Reds, what I got.
All right, so we got completely different World Series here. So, you got Yankees-Reds. I'll let you go first. Who's winning it all? Who's taking the ring?
Well, I still got the Reds helmet on here. I had the Yankees before the season. I had them beating the Braves in the World Series. So, I'm not going to change my pick for the AL at least. I got the Yankees winning the World Series. At some point, like I just said, you will get cold. Ask Daniel Murphy and the Mets. They thought he was going to carry them all the way through. He carried them as far as he can. At some point, you get cold. Bright lights will hit the Reds at some point. They'll get cold. They'll falter a little bit. I got the Yankees in 6. They got too much talent, and they had adversity all year. And that's the big thing. They both teams will have crazy amounts of adversity all year.
Oh yeah.
So that's what helps them. And both teams, Yankees not really hot right now, but they'll hit a switch. They're one of those teams who can actually turn a switch. Yeah. The Reds are hot. And those are the teams you see at the end of the years in all sports. So I think the Yankees will beat them. I would, anybody else gets there, I'll be rooting for the Reds. Maybe unless it was the A's.
Yeah, I hear you.
But, I'm going to take the helmet off. And they'll have to wait till next year, the Reds.
All right.
But Yankees-Reds, Yankees 6 games.
All right. I could see that happening. I could see the Yankees doing it and finally getting hot and finally grabbing what they could have had all season with a great team and a really unstoppable team. And I think if it did come down to that, I would take the Yankees. So I got completely different.
Don't say it.
Dodgers, White Sox. 6 games, Dodgers.
Oh
finally get over the hill. They finally do it.
Years now. We're over 10 years.
They finally do it.
He was on the team last year, just rooting for him. Jesus.
If I had a Dodgers helmet, I'd put it on right now.
No, why would you?
I got a hat over there. I'm not gonna go over there and get it.
Gonna wear that.
It is on the bottom for a reason. Look at it.
Yeah, because they don't win nothing.
All right.
How many teams are over there? Almost every one of those teams won before they have.
That's true. I got Yankees, Cardinals, Cubs, Dodgers.
Yeah, so all 3 of those teams have won before them. Even the Expos had over there, they've won before them.
Yeah, I know.
But Jesus,
Oh,
you've been rooting for them every year. You pick them.
I know. I pick
Andre
them every
Ito was on
year.
a team when they were.
I know.
James Loney's still there. No, that's how long it's been since he's picking them. No.
I'm going Dodgers in 6. I can't give up on them now. I can't give
Someone
up.
has to.
If they don't, I don't know.
You'll be picking them next year.
Although
what are
they,
you worried about?
Then again, if the White Sox win, I'd be very happy. If the White Sox win at all. So if the White Sox do take it from the Dodgers, I'd be perfect. I really, as far as all the AL teams are concerned, I mean, as long as the Rays don't win it, I'll be happy because I don't like the Rays anymore.
Well, the Astros.
Oh yeah, but I didn't even think about them because I'm looking at the list right now. Yeah, if the Astros win, I'd be pissed. Rays win, I'd be pissed. Other than that, I'm fine.
Blue Jays win, I'd be a little upset just because they're not in Toronto all year.
Yeah.
So it would just kind of be like a sting to
Mm-hmm.
them. It's kind of similar to Oakland. You know, at least the World Series wouldn't be in Oakland. But I'm rooting for just about anybody other than the Dodgers and the Astros.
Yeah, and as far as actually the NL, I like all the teams. Dodgers, Brewers. I don't think the Brewers will do it, but I would root for the Brewers. Braves, Reds. I like both teams.
Sure.
Cubs, Marlins. I like both teams. Padres, Cardinals. I love both those teams. So really, as long as the Rays don't win it, I'm fine. So I got Dodgers in 6. You got Yankees in 6. Really, the two coming into the season, the two highest lauded teams. They had the best odds of winning the World Series to start the year, and here they are, 2020, 60 games, and here we got both of them. One of them winning the World Series.
Yeah.
So it goes to show that talent, even in 60 games plus however many they play in the postseason, the talent speaks for itself. I think that I wouldn't say all 16 of these teams could win it, but I'd say a solid. I don't know. I'd say a solid 10 of them.
Sure.
Could really foreseeably do it.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, and I just, I picked the Yankees before the season. I had the Reds going far before the season, so I wanted to kind of stick true to that and not change too much off of that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I went there, and I just think at some point they'll win the Yankees, and got the Reds here. So in their beautiful stadium, but
Yeah, sure.
postseason's going to be crazy. Let's just hope that they don't keep this 16-team postseason because they do have 2 teams under 500.
Yeah, which is
Postseason.
embarrassing.
To go along with that,
Mm-hmm.
a trivia question.
Sure.
And it goes hand in hand with that.
Mhm.
So, what team has the worst record, who had the worst record in Major League history to win a World Series? And it's not that long ago.
No.
And, of course, the team makes sense. The 2006 Cardinals. Of course, the Cardinals.
Of course.
They were 83 and 78.
Mm-hmm.
That's a .512 win percentage. And a little fact about that, they wouldn't have been second in any other division. They wouldn't even have been second in any other division. And I
Yeah.
think they would have been 4th in 2 other divisions.
Wow.
And they won their division,
Jesus.
and they won the World Series. So it just tells you get hot at the right time with some of the right people.
Sure.
And you probably face the Dodgers, and you'll probably go to the World Series. So the 06 Cardinals, 83 and 78 with a .512 win percentage. That's the worst record to win a World Series in baseball history. Not long ago.
No. When I first because I did get, I believe I did guess it right. My first thought actually went to the 2011 Cardinals because they came out of nowhere
I think
and they
were
really set the
89 or 90 win team.
Yeah, that's I knew that they came into the wild card, but my first thought was they probably did better than I would think they would do. So I just guessed Cardinals.
I kind of
And-
thought the Rockies that year because they
Yeah.
were not good, and then they won 20. They were 24-2 down the stretch
Yeah.
to make the playoffs. So I kind of thought they were probably a few over 500 and just ran wild through the playoffs and then hit a buzzsaw and got cold, which is kind of what we're rooting here for the Reds.
Mhm.
Red hot, go to the playoffs and run to a buzzsaw.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that kind of went hand in hand, especially with this year having the Cardinals in the World Series or in the playoffs and having teams who aren't even 500 in the playoffs. I figured that was a pretty good trivia question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good one. I don't know how many people will guess that. I mean, there's a lot of you got to figure wild card era. You got to immediately go to that in your head. So you got to kind of pick if you know your teams. You got to go kind of divvy it down there. But that 06 Cardinals team was fun too. And I didn't even Frank had to remind me the 06 Tigers, Maglio Ordonez and the fellows facing off
Maglio.
against them. So that's like a World Series.
Sure.
So that's our predictions for the postseason. Our updated. But, we'll obviously revisit this, and we'll revisit our original predictions, and we'll revisit and kind of see where we went right, where we went wrong. So if you have anything else that you want to wrap up with, say your piece now. What do you got?
Nothing really. Just Dodgers aren't going to win.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get that out of your head,
Okay.
please.
I'm not going to say the same to you because I want the Yankees to win.
The Yankees, I think they go far.
I hope so.
I hope the A's go far. I can see the White Sox going far, and the Reds are gonna go far. The Cardinals can go far. Anyone but Dodgers, Astros, Rays. I mean, those teams.
That's it. Yeah.
Especially the Dodgers. I can't stand them. So everyone root against them.
Maybe I did this just to piss you off.
Yeah, you might have. And you know what? It's a shame the Orioles aren't here.
Oh.
Because Mike doesn't get the tattoo. But
thank God.
There's always next year.
They were close. The Yankees knocked them right out, but they were close. They were really close.
The fighting Chris Davises. So that's it, though. That's pretty much Dodgers. Can't believe it.
Well, we'll see. You guys can maybe write in and tell us how right we are, or tell us how wrong we are. By the time this goes live, obviously we'll have had some answers to this episode. You could see almost immediately as soon as it goes live where we went right, where we went wrong.
I mean, we've had 30-something episodes here, right?
Yeah, we're on 34 here.
And we've been crazy. We had a shortened season and all this crazy. Well, there's 3 things I think that our listeners can understand that really bothers us. Well, at least bothers me. Maybe not as much to Mike, but the listeners should understand. One is Manfred.
Oh, my God.
He bothers. He's stupid.
I agree.
Then for me, the next one's the Dodgers.
I can't agree.
So that and the third one's Ray Schalk.
Stop.
That guy bothers me. So
How could you?
Those 3 things bother me. So I hope our listeners understood that those are 3 ways to get me to start yelling. And if there's a complimentary piece or a, runner-up, it'd be the Astros.
Oh, yeah.
And that whole thing.
Oh, my God.
So, but those 3 things really bother me.
Ray Schalk.
So I had to go through 3 episodes in a row mentioning Ray Schalk. So, boy, oh boy. But that's... Playoffs are here. Postseason baseball's here. So it should be exciting.
Yeah, sure. I'm all excited. I'm all disgusted now that you brought up Ray Schalk. Yeah. So what do you say we get out of here? You can we can go check out some Monday Night Football, see what's going on with that. We got was it Ravens Chiefs?
Yeah, Raiders won last week for the Monday Night Football game. They lost this week on Sunday, but Monday Night Football first win in Vegas. Raiders won, so that was cool. 2-1. So all the listeners would go root for Raiders.
Good for them. I'd say something about the Giants, but there's not much to say. So
sure there is. They showed up.
They were there,
and then they got on the bus and they went back home.
Yes.
And anywhere from when they showed up to when they went home was a blur.
Yeah, they just didn't know what happened.
Yeah, they lost to a team that has all their starters missing. But the Giants terrible, and the Raiders 2-1.
There you go.
So go Raiders.
There you go. There's a little football update for the episode.
Yep.
All right, guys. So that wraps up this episode. Tell us how right and wrong we are in the comments on Twitter or on YouTube or whatever. Let us know.
Look up Ray Schalk and let us know what you think about him.
Please don't.
Yes, no. Please. Jeez.
All right, guys. So until next week, you can listen to this podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well as Google Podcasts. You can listen to this on our regularly updated YouTube channel as well as our website, screwball.podbean.com. You can follow me on Twitter at RealMikeLepre. You can follow me on Instagram at Mike Lepre.
And you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at FDubs10.
You can follow our official Screwball Twitter at ScrewballPod. You can follow our official Screwball Facebook at ScrewballPod. No E in Screw. And that's it from us, guys. We'll see you next week.
Yep. Take care.